Welcome to the Mindset Playground. Whether you're thinking about starting your own business or just looking to become inspired, award-winning entrepreneur Lou Ann Hunt is here putting into practice what she teaches every day. She's a certified Canfield trainer in the Success Principles and Diabetes Prevention Program lifestyle coach. So please welcome the host of the Mindset Playground, Lou Ann Hunt.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Mindset Playground, where you will get your daily dose of positivity. And I am your host, Lou Ann Hunt. And I want you to know that you are always one decision away from a completely different life. Now, I can promise you that if you watch the Mindset Playground, it will never be dull or boring. You will laugh, you may cry, but you will definitely leave with a dose of positivity. So I have a great show for you today. Have you ever heard the term Groundhog Day? Some days it feels like you're living your life over and over and over and over again, the same every day and every night. Well, my guest today can put a stop to that for you because she was actually in that situation. And her name is Myrto Mangriotti, and she believes that life is a learning playground. How fitting that it shouldn't be taken too seriously. Because she struggled so long with her good girl attitude most of her life, she found peace in embracing it. She is the co-founder, actually, she is the founder of Loving Living, which is an amazing company to pursue her passion for helping people awaken to their true self, enjoying their lives to the fullest, and by living in the present moment. So I'm going to call my friend Myrto to the playground. Come on in, Myrto.
Hi.
Hi. How exciting to have you here. And our producer noticed that you were here before. So see, you were so dynamic that I had to have you back on the playground. How are you?
I'm great, and it's so amazing to be here because, as you said, my motto is that life is just a living playground that we shouldn't take too seriously. So, yeah, how fit and how great to be here with you today and talk about that.
I know, and I'm so excited to have you here. Now, listen, that's an interesting, beautiful photo that you have in the background. Where are you from?
I'm from Athens, Greece. Yeah.
That's on my bucket list. And I know you said that it's on a lot of people's buckets list.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel so privileged to be living here, and as I very often say, I'm just 40 minutes away from the beach, and this is one of the places that I try to go almost every week, all year round, because it is actually my playground, my grounding place, and where I go to recharge. So, yeah.
And I know your beaches are gorgeous. I've done some research because I am planning a trip soon.
I hope to meet you face to face when you come, and I will show you around.
Absolutely. You couldn't keep me away. So, do you have such a thing as Groundhog Day in Greece?
I've seen the movie actually.
Yeah.
I loved this movie.
Yeah. But do
Yeah,
you do you have Groundhog Day in oh no? Okay. Do you have groundhogs?
not really. No, I don't think so.
We're starting off with the tough subjects, I know. Well, just to give you a little bit about, I know the movie was awesome, right? And that's what I was referring to when I was talking about Groundhog Day. But we do have groundhogs here. And what we do is they're almost like a spiritual animal, which I know you can appreciate being into meditation and things like that, like I am as well. and they're kind of a spiritual animal. And what they do is they film them on February 2nd, and
Mhm.
it's always February
Oh,
2nd.
oh.
And they film them, and if the groundhog comes out of its hiding place or its hibernation, and
Mhm.
if he sees his shadow, it scares him and he goes back into hibernation for 6 more weeks. And this is how they predict that we have 6 more weeks of winter weather coming. So if he comes out of his hibernation and he's enjoying, the weather or whatever the case may be, and he stays out of his hibernation, then that means that we're going to have an early spring. And I know so many people think that that's kind of hocus pocus, but you know what? I kind of believe in it. So this year for sure, we're having 6 more weeks of, the dreaded winter weather. So we know that it's just kind of a given. But anyway, so that's the story of the groundhog. But let's move on to you. So I see here that you're a certified deep coach, the Canfield Success Principles and Methodology certified trainer,
Mhm.
and an ULA life and green cap coach. Can you tell me what that means?
So, Ula comes from the word oulala from the French, and is a state where you feel like your life is you're doing great, and your life is oulala, it's great. So, and it is actually, it's not just a mindset, but it's also a way of living. Living your Ula life it means that you have a balanced and fulfilling life, and you're always growing and having moments that you enjoy your life, and always striving to become a better person. And being a Nula coach is me helping everyone or anyone to have their Ula life using
That's
this
very
specific,
cool.
yeah, using this specific framework.
Wow. So, how did you get into that? Let's talk a little bit about your background.
Well, as you stated, I was at the beginning. I was kind of living in a Groundhog Day
Right?
for not so great for many years, and I was actually living in like I was a robot, waking up in the morning, doing the same things every day, not actually enjoying anything in my life, not being present in my life. And I was depressed. And so I woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I worked on my computer. I went to work. I came back at 8 o'clock in the evening, feeling totally stressed because things weren't going well at my job. And then I ate, watched TV, slept, and then did the same thing over and over again until I came to a point in my life that I actually couldn't find anything to be grateful for. And this is exactly what my story is about in our joint book of gratitude, where you also had a chapter in. And I realized that I had to do something to change my life around. And this is exactly the time when I started looking into self development programs and self help programs. And I first found the Canfield family and the success
Mm-hmm.
principles, and I started using them to change my life around. And as I saw that this was something that was working, I decided to actually become a trained um, success principle certified conflict trainer, and that's
Hmm.
what I did. And after that, I was trying to find a program that would actually a course, something that I could use to help my clients to go through this process and create their goals and start living their dream life. And this is when I found Ula. And the difference, the good thing about Ula is that it is they have a very structured program and very specific steps that you can work with. And they combine this with live life coaching. So
Okay.
you have the process, you have the steps, and you also you can have me as a coach to guide you every step of the way. And I really loved this concept. And that's why I also became an ULA life coach.
Well, that's exciting. And how long did it take you for that program?
It was because I was already a certified conflict trainer, so I was into all this way of thinking and working towards your goals. I had really done a lot of work with myself on finding what I really enjoy, what I want, why I want it, what are my goals. It was quite easy for me to go through the ULA life coaching program and process because they are actually very similar. So
Okay.
it just took me a month because it's a self help, it's a self paced program. But it depends, of course, where you are in your life. I had already been working with myself for 3 years. So I was already ready in that mindset.
Yeah. And then what is this green gap coach as well? Like
So
is that almost the same?
the Green Gap is it's a specific program that has to do only with finances because
Oh,
so the Green Gap is actually the difference between what you're spending and what your expenses are, and there should be a green gap between those and not the other way around. It should be a red gap. So the green gap is how this program is specifically a program that can help you create a larger green gap. And then what do you do with this green gap? How do you allocate your savings so that you use it to have something for retirement, to invest it, and to also have a lot of money to use for fun, which is what we want.
right. That's so true. In fact, I was just working on a situation where I'm actually be trying to be intentional,
Mm,
because I am going on an Alaskan cruise in July. And so I have decided that I am going to be intentional about this cruise so that it is completely paid for before I go,
mm,
and I'm going to enjoy it to the fullest. I don't want to get all the way to Alaska and say, "Oh, I wish I could do that excursion, but I can't really afford it." And I
mm,
don't want to do that. I want to go and enjoy it 100% to the fullest and be able to experience all these things. And then when I come home, I'm going to do the exact same thing for my trip to Greece, which is going to be in the spring of next year. So that's what I plan. I plan on
per-
working on my green gap.
Exactly. So this is how this program works. It helps you to allocate your finances in that way, so that you can do all the to do everything you have on your bucket list.
Well, in my case, I have a bucket book.
Good for
So,
you, because you know that
yes.
there are some people who don't have a bucket list, and you should, because you shouldn't go through life just living a Groundhog Day.
Yes. Yes, I did enough of that when I was working at my regular job. So, I don't have that anymore. I can do what I want now, and it's quite nice. So, this TV show actually came out of that. So, yes, it's very intentional. But anyway, so what are some of the things that you have on your bucket list? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Hmm. What do I have on my bucket list? I actually want to travel to Japan. I also want to I also want to come back to the States. I've been a few times before, but now it's been a few years, and because of course of COVID, I haven't been able to be there, and I want to meet the Canfield family, the Ula family, the authors family. So when I come, I think I have to plan for a very long trip there, so they can meet so many people that I've met online these 3 last years.
Yes. Yeah. And we're going to talk about that in a few moments. We have to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about our latest collaboration book together, the book on gratitude. Don't go away. You're watching the Mindset Playground, and I'm your host, Luann Hunt.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Hey everyone, we're so glad that you joined us today on the Mindset Playground, where you're going to get your daily dose of positivity. And I definitely have an amazing guest with me today. We both live in that positive state, and we actually wrote a book together. We co-authored in a book. So I'm going to bring her back to the playground. Myrto.
Hi.
Hi again. So Myrto, I know that you have your book in the background. Can you hold it up? That's
Yeah.
awesome. Is there one with just your picture on it? Did you get?
That's the previous one that we
Oh,
wrote together. That's the book on transformation. But the latest one is the book on gratitude, and I love the stories in there because they are so uplifting and inspiring.
yes, I have to admit that although I really appreciated writing for the book on transformation, and it was definitely a good way to kind of get me involved in the group, I have to admit that the book on gratitude is a little bit closer to my favorite. So, yes. So, let's talk about your section in the book on gratitude. First of all, how did you get involved in this group?
Well, John Fraser, what more can I say?
How did you
We,
meet Jan?
of course, from our Canfield community, which is
Okay.
it's an amazing community, and I actually had, when I wrote my goals, I when I started, as I said before, when I found out about the success principles, and they said, okay, you have to write your goals. So I I started. I didn't know exactly how to do it, but one of the goals that I wrote was I want to become an author. And that was back in 2018, and I had no idea how to do that. I had never written anything. So I said, okay, I'm going to put that far away in the future because, it's something I've no idea how to do. And I wrote, take a course on how to write in January 2022.
Oh, okay.
And I forgot about it. And and the next years I never transferred this goal, so I didn't think about it. And and when Jan approached me about the book on transformation, I remembered about this goal, and it was actually January 2022 when she approached me. And I remembered about this goal, and I went back to my notes, and to my amazement, I saw that I had actually written down January 2022. And what Jan is actually doing when you are co-authoring a book, she's offering her services to help you also write the book. So it's also um, a course on how to write. So I was actually doing that. And why I'm saying this is because writing your goals and having something written down and deciding what you want to do actually works. And sometimes, even if you don't think about it, you just need to have this goal somewhere in your mind. Of course, the more you work on it, the better it is. But sometimes it's just the law of attraction working. Just because you have set this and you have this intention, it actually, the universe, as I'm saying, brings this to you.
Right. And
So,
for
yeah.
those of you who think that this is a little woo woo, then let's put it in plain terms. Um, when you write out your goals, your brain actually acts like a computer, and your brain will go to work and help you solve those problems that you have written down or the goals that you have written down. Your brain will actually go to work to make those happen. And whether you believe it or not, like we're talking about the law of attraction, which is near and dear to my heart, and I know Murdo loves it as well. But for those who want the scientific terms, then there you go. Your brain will act as a computer and actually make it happen for you. So continue on.
Yeah, and I also want to add, it's called, that part of the brain is called the reticular activating system. And what it actually does is that it focuses on the things that you focus on. So it clears out, because we get millions of messages every day, you know, from everywhere. And so the more you are focused on something, the same thing is what the brain focuses on. So it clears out all the things that you're not interested in, and stays on the things that you're focused. So that's what a goal does. It tells your brain, you need to focus on this.
Right.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
And it works. I mean, you and I are proof that it works. I mean, I didn't even realize when I started working with Jack and they told us about the 101 goals
mhm.
and we had to write out 101 goals. Well, that's a job right there, because you can get to maybe 75 if you really push it, but it's hard to get to 101. And but I persevered and I went through it. It took me quite a while to get through to 101. But the cool thing is that I went back into the goals that I had written down, and believe it or not, number 78 of my goal list, and I hadn't looked at it for a while, number 78 in my goal list was to host a TV show.
Wow.
And I would have never, I mean, in a million years, I certainly didn't think it was going to, happen. I didn't think it was going to come true. But sure enough, when I went back and when I tried to go back into my goals and I checked them off, like the ones that I've actually gone through and achieved, I couldn't believe that number 78 was to be the host of a TV show. And it just kind of happened with, writing the books, and that's how it all came about. So you just
Mm.
never know. You just never know. Write it down. Like, I certainly never thought I would be heading to Greece or going on an Alaskan cruise, but I've written it down. So, yeah, it's going to happen because I'm intentional.
Yeah.
So, what else in the book on gratitude? Then, what did you find yourself doing? Did you find that it helped your life, like your Groundhog Day?
So actually, yeah, what I talk about in the book is actually the Groundhog Day, and what did I do, what I did about it. And I'm going back to goal setting. So one of the things that everyone talks in all the self-development programs, and is that before you start writing of what you, or asking for what you want, you have to start appreciating for what you already have. So gratitude is the number one thing that you need to do. And at that point in my life, as I write in the book, I couldn't find gratitude in everything and in anything. It was a I was so depressed, and everything was so dark, and it was, now I talk about it, and I say, my God, how was that possible? So I said, okay, if that's what they're suggesting, probably is right, because they know better. They are successful. I am in my misery, so I need to start doing something. Let's start finding things to be grateful for. So one of the things I did, it was, I saw on Facebook that there was an idea called the jar of gratitude. And what you do is you actually have a jar, and every day you write on a piece of paper one thing that you feel grateful for, and you throw it in the jar. And then if there are days that you don't feel very good about yourself and about your life, then you open the notes in the jar and you read them, and then it makes you feel better about yourself. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that. Good idea. So I the jar, I wrote gratitude, joy, and I don't know what else outside. Then I put it at the entrance of my house, near the front door, and I got some colored post-it notes, and
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, so every day now I'm going to come back home and I will write something I'm grateful for. So the first few days, weeks, I don't know, I couldn't find anything. It was so hard for me. So some days I wrote, I'm happy and grateful. Full stop. Nothing else. Just that. And then slowly I started finding things like, oh, I'm happy and grateful for my air conditioning, probably because it was a very hot summer day. Or I'm happy and grateful for my cuddly, beautiful cats. So I said, oh, okay. Or I'm happy and grateful for whatever. So I started slowly to retrain myself using this jar of gratitude to find gratitude in my life. And the thing is that with gratitude, the more grateful you are, the more things you find to be grateful for.
That's
And
very true.
yeah, and this is and then I talk about the law of attraction in the book, so that we already talked about. And this is how it works, because you are, like attracts like. So you can choose what you want to focus on in your life. You can choose to when you look around in your in any place that you are, you can choose to focus on all the bad things, the scratches on the wall, the whatever, or you can choose to focus on what's beautiful, what you can find things to appreciate everywhere, and it's your choice. So and the more you focus on the good things, the more things will come to you to feel good about.
That's true. I think it just brings awareness to what's going on around you. So one minute, you have something that you're grateful for, and then that leads to another thing, that leads to another thing, that leads to another thing. And I think it's all about awareness. So we're going to continue this great conversation because I want to find out what you're up to next. But we're going to take a quick break. So don't go away. You're watching the Mindset Playground. And I am with a good friend of mine, Murto, and we're going to come back and give you some tips so that you yourself can get into this feeling of gratitude. Don't go away.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. Yeah, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com. plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, Hope, and Support for Caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We're so excited that you're here joining us live on the Mindset Playground. I'm your host, Luann Hunt, and I am with my good friend, Murto Mangriotti, and we are talking about the law of attraction and the book on gratitude, which we both have written stories in. And I'm going to bring Murto back to the playground. Murto? So this is just so great. I love talking with or speaking with mind-like people. You know what I mean? Like, this is what the whole Mindset Playground is all about. And like you said, we shouldn't take things too seriously, but at the same time, we need to be grateful and we need to set those goals. It's so, so important. And we're both proof that these goals have come true in one way or another. And it's people in our audience that are here, like Lauren Robbins. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for sending us a message. We both appreciate you. And it's people like that that you know that when you're in the right frame of mind, that you attract people to you. Do you agree?
Yes, yes, I totally agree. It's so interesting for me how my life has changed since I started working on all these, working on myself actually, because this is what let's not this is what everyone needs to do. It's not a miracle cure that comes from outside. It's you need to, if you have things in your life that you are not happy about, what it's you, it's all about you, and you need to start to change yourself in order to see changes in your around you. So
Yes.
everything starts from you, and when you do that, it's certain that you are going to start to see things happening, positive things happening in your life. So yeah, that's and I cannot believe where I was 5 years ago and where I am now in my life. So all this stuff works.
It really does. And I'm the same way. And same thing with meeting Jan and writing in the book on gratitude with you and getting to meet the people who've written in the book. I mean, how exciting is that? That alone has been such a positive adventure and
Mhm.
just so worth it, that we're in a I'm going to say in a room, but here we are, we're on Zoom. So we'll just call it a Zoom room. And it's all of us writers in the room and just sharing stories and sharing feelings, and it's so, so uplifting. And I've been so lucky to be able to interview quite a few of the authors and just hearing their stories. And wow, this is really a powerful book. I got to tell you, just reading the stories, and everyone's story is completely different. It might be they have gratitude for their animals, or they have gratitude for their spouses, or they have gratitude for, in my case, it was my father-in-law.
Mm.
So just such an uplifting book. And I found that the stories are so inspirational. And you're right. And once we find out where we're feeling, as far as putting our feelings into play, then we want to do something to change where we are. So that's what the success principles is all about, right? How to
Yeah,
get from where you are to where you want to be. And
exactly.
this those 64 universal principles, that work if you work the principles. And these are things that are basically, I won't say they're embedded, but it's important to learn them and learn about ourselves in the process.
Mm.
So I know that you have quite a few programs that you've put together, and that's so great. So let's talk about those programs.
Well, one of the programs that I am now creating, it's not totally done yet, is the Good Girl Toolkit. And this is a program that it's is very near to my heart, because being a good girl all my life, as you said, I was really shy and very insecure. Although I looked like I was very strong and very powerful, it was like, as I say, a mask that I was wearing, so that, and I pushed people away. But and I believe that there are many, many women who have this good girl syndrome, and I want to help them to, so for a long time I thought that I had to get rid of this good girl attitude. But what I realized, that what we need to actually do is embrace it, because there are so many good things about being a good girl, and you can use these attributes of your character to your advantage, so that you actually have a life that you want, and not always being, the good girl and doing things just for other people. You need to learn to say no, and take care of yourself, and not just think about other people, and especially what other people are going to think about you. Because for me, my biggest problem was that I was always thinking, what are they going to say about me? Am I good enough? I'm not good enough. I was always comparing myself to other people, and I was feeling less. I'm also Greek, so my English is not perfect, but I actually, a couple of months ago, I did a 77-day Facebook Live challenge, and I went on for 77 days, every day speaking in English and talking about coaching tips for a few minutes every day. And then I watched my videos and said, "Oh no, God, the pronunciation is wrong. The syntax is wrong. I should have said this word instead of this word." And then I said, "Oh, what the, it's a playground. It doesn't matter. Do I get my point out? That's it. And I don't care what everyone, if they don't like me, they don't. So that's it." And it freed me. The last time I had an interview for the first book, I had a script and I had everything written down. I spoke to Jan before, and I had all my questions ready. Today, I no longer do that. It's a playground. It doesn't matter, even if it doesn't go, it's not perfect, but it is what it is, and we're having fun. So
Right.
what? Right? So this is what's most important. I found out that the most important thing is life is to just be here in the moment and enjoy what you're doing.
Right. And that, I have to admit, that's really great, because the first couple of shows that I did were all scripted, and I was like so concerned about, was I going to ask the right question? And I would ask people to send me questions and let me know, like, what they wanted me to ask them, that type of thing. And then it just got to the point where, it was so much work scripting everything, and we just weren't having fun. It just felt like we were just kind of like robots, just going through it felt like a TV script is what it felt like. And then I said, you know what, I would rather just, it's kind of started with the books, when we had all of the authors, or as many as I could, on the show. It started then, because I was like, you know what, like, let's just be, some girlfriends sitting around the table, having a coffee or whatever, and let's just talk, and let's just talk about what it is that's in our hearts and what makes this tick. And hopefully our messages, yours and mine, and
Mhm.
everybody else who I do a show with, is going to benefit someone. Someone out there will benefit from what we have to say. And they're going to see that we're real. We're real people here. So, if it works for us, it'll work for you. That type of thing. And that's more the message that I'm trying to send out there. But I have seen your toolbox, your good girl toolbox. But just before we talk about that real quick, could you just kind of explain what you mean by a good girl? Because I know that there's a lot of people watching and they're probably going to say, well, what does she mean by a good girl? I'm a good girl. I don't, I don't cause any trouble. I don't rob banks. I'm a good girl.
Yeah, it's I said a couple of things already, but it's a good girl is more of a person who doesn't, you don't think about yourself. You always put everyone else before you. You always try to do what's right. You always say yes to other people, even if you don't have time, even if you don't want to do something. It's when we were growing up, it's mostly our generation and the older generation where they were telling girls, you got to be a good girl, don't speak, don't keep your opinion to yourself. Not a very good way to create an independent, striving character for a woman, but it was what it was, and sometimes we also do it by ourselves. For me, my parents divorced when I was 5 years old, and my mother was very sad. So I felt the need to be a good girl for her so that I didn't cause her more pain. And
Right.
came for me my way of life, and I didn't realize that I actually never had a childhood where I felt completely like a child. So probably this is why now I'm also saying that life is a learning playground, because I missed the playing part when I was a child. My I dread school. I even now when I think of school, it wasn't a happy time. I always felt that I had to be great. I had to be good. I had to be a good student and be. So it created actually stress for me. And I know that there are other people saying, "Oh, I would love to go back to school." Um, no stress. I was only playing. It was the best time of my life. For me, it's exactly the opposite, and it has been all my life had been like that up to a point. And that's when I realized that I got it all wrong. Because actually life, nothing, everything is just an experience, and you just to be authentic and be you. And
Yeah.
the one thing which is very very important is that you can't make anyone happy if you're unhappy. I think that we can see that, it's happiness and the positive mindset is contagious, as just like when you are you enter a room and there's a person who is in a very bad mood. It can suck you in.
Yeah.
The other thing also can happen. So thinking that as a good girl I can make other people happy, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You first need to be happy yourself. And I always go back to the instructions in the airplane where they say, you have to put the mask first and then to your child. Why is that? Because if you die, then you cannot help anyone. And
Right.
this is about everything in your life.
That's very true. Well, Murdo, this has been an amazing interview today. And unfortunately, we got to take a quick break one more time, and then we're going to close off the show. And we'll give you some information on how you can get in touch with Murto as soon as we come back. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a few short minutes. And you're watching the Mindset Playground on Bold Brave TV.
Mike Zorich, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorich, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorich has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mindset Playground. I'm your host, Luann Hunt, and I am with Murto Mangriotti, and she is an amazing coach. And her one word, if I could bring her back to the screen, her one word is embrace. And I love that. That's so important. So she says, embrace yourself, embrace the present moment, and embrace your life. Murto, that's so true. So if I want to work with you, or if I want to look into the Good Girl Toolbox, how can I find you?
Well, the easiest way is you can go to my website, www.loving-living.com. And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube. So, and you can find all these links on my Loving Living website.
Yes.
And I will
Well,
be, I am there. Whatever you need, you can contact me and you can ask me anything. And I'm always open to answer and help.
absolutely. And all of Murdo's information is going to be posted on my website as well. And my website is luannhunt.ca. That's where you're going to find out who's coming up on my show, The Mindset Playground. And we come to you live every week at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the name of the show, again, is The Mindset Playground, where you will get your daily dose of positivity. I am your host, Luann Hunt. And if you're listening to us live, you're at boldbravetv.com. And if you're listening to us by podcast, you are listening on boldbravetalk.com. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We both appreciate you. We're so glad that you were able to make it to the playground today. Murto, any final words?
Oh, it was so great being here. As I said, in the commercial time flew, I thought we could do 1 more hour at least. You are a good host, and I would love to talk to you again. It was, I had an amazing time.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And I think we covered all the things that we should cover. And there's probably a lot more that we could cover. But I hope that you will purchase our book, the book on gratitude. And of course, you can check out our website for the book as well, which is just bookongratitude.com. And Murto actually takes care of our website. So we're very grateful to have Murto working with us on all of these books. And until next week, when I see you, to the audience, thank you so much again for joining us. Until next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.
This has been the Mindset Playground with host Luann Hunt. Tune in each week for another daily dose of positivity right here on the Mindset Playground.